对面公路安完，那边房子都直接。
This was not just rain, it was a relentless downpour, battering streets, homes, and the entire infrastructure, overwhelming every surface it touched. By mid-September, the intensity of the storm system had exceeded Beijing's flood control capabilities, from the city center to the suburban belts. The sponge city systems designed to absorb moderate flooding could not withstand the massive volume of water. Retention ponds overflowed, permeable pavements failed to absorb the runoff, and underground drainage systems were clogged with rainwater as rivers like the Yangding swelled dangerously close to overflowing. Across 25 monitored rivers, water levels had surpassed safe limits. Chaos unfolded on the streets within minutes. Underpasses turned into water traps. Subway entrances became gushing wells, flooding platforms and halting all transit. Vehicles were abandoned in rising waters, which climbed above curbs in minutes and continued to rise. Commercial districts, residential zones, and major traffic arteries were all submerged. The city's concrete and asphalt proved powerless against the vertical flood pouring from the sky. Beyond the urban grid, the mountains surrounding Beijing were affected in a different way. In Manugu and Funan, rugged areas on the city's western edge, saturated soils triggered dangerous flash floods and rapid runoff. Heavy rain pounded the mountain slopes, forming torrents that surged downhill at terrifying speed. Natural streams swelled into full-blown torrents, feeding directly into already overburdened city channels. What made this flood even more devastating was not only the sheer volume, but also the speed. Short, intense bursts of rain, ranging from 30 to 70 millimeters, created gaps in the city's drainage system. With nowhere for the water to go, it simply rose, turning low-lying districts into shallow lakes. Within hours, sections of Beijing's highways, public parks, and urban plazas were submerged, some with water deep enough to be considered wastewater. The scientific cause behind the flood was a perfect storm of extreme climatic factors. A prolonged heat wave had warmed the city's surface and lower atmosphere, creating ideal conditions for severe thunderstorms. Warm, moisture-laden air trapped over the capital triggered clouds that dumped massive amounts of water in a very short period. The combination of high ground temperatures and saturated skies turned Beijing into a funnel for atmospheric moisture.
对面公路安完，那边房子都直接。 安上来好高啊！
Emergency measures were deployed swiftly, but pushed to their limits. A Level 4 flood alert was activated at the very start of the event. Drainage teams worked around the clock with water pumps, yet struggled to keep pace with the enormous volume of water. At key intersections, stormwater lifted manhole covers off the ground, traffic came to a complete standstill, and entire neighborhoods went dark as substations shut down to prevent electrocution. Authorities tried to divert flows to rural areas, but even those were quickly overwhelmed. Beijing's built environment, modern, vertical, and complex, became a vulnerability. Underground malls, tunnels, basements, and parking structures flooded in a domino effect.
外面公路安哇，那边房子都住的。
The clock, but could barely keep pace.
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare. Because awareness isn't fear, it's power.
On September 6, 2025, Yunnan Province in southwestern China endured a devastating disaster. Days of heavy rainfall triggered severe flooding and caused a major dam in the region to suddenly burst. The collapse released an enormous surge of water that swept through valleys, towns, and farmland, bringing destruction to communities already weakened by floods and waterlogged soils in previous days. This event is regarded as one of the most catastrophic disasters in the province's recent history. For days before the incident, water levels in the reservoir had risen steadily, far exceeding safe limits. Although controlled discharges were carried out, relentless rainfall placed unbearable pressure on the dam. By dawn on the 6th, the wall could no longer hold. Residents downstream recalled hearing a thunderous explosion, followed by torrents of muddy water crashing down, carrying soil, rocks, and debris. Within minutes, entire neighborhoods were submerged, vehicles overturned, homes were destroyed, and fertile farmlands disappeared beneath murky waters. Although evacuation warnings had been issued, the speed of the collapse left thousands unable to escape in time. Rescue teams rushed in with motorboats, rafts, and helicopters to save those trapped. But the fierce currents and floating debris made operations extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, emergency shelters quickly filled to capacity. Thousands of families who had lost their homes crowded into schools, community centers, or temporary tents. For many, the most urgent concern was simply survival, having shelter, clean water, and food to endure the days ahead. The humanitarian toll has been immense. Thousands of homes were swept away or severely damaged. Power lines collapsed, plunging communities into darkness. Hospitals became overcrowded as waves of injured people arrived, while some medical facilities themselves suffered flood damage. Floodwaters mixed with sewage and industrial chemicals, creating severe contamination and raising the threat of disease outbreaks. To prevent a public health crisis, relief organizations distributed water purification tablets, emergency medicines, and essential medical supplies. Yet agricultural losses remain staggering. Rice paddies, cornfields, and vegetable farms were completely destroyed. Livestock perished in large numbers. Seed reserves for the coming planting season were washed away, raising fears of long-term food shortages. Infrastructure across the province was nearly paralyzed. Bridges collapsed, major highways were washed out, and saturated slopes triggered landslides that blocked mountain roads. Railway services were suspended, leaving areas isolated. Engineers were dispatched urgently to inspect remaining dams and reservoirs amid fears of further collapses as heavy rain continued. Authorities mobilized all available resources. Military units were deployed to assist in evacuations, deliver supplies, and reinforce embankments. Hydrological experts monitored river systems and issued early warnings for downstream areas. Humanitarian groups worked with local governments to provide shelter, medicine, and even psychological support. Environmental scientists warned that contaminated soil and water could bring long-lasting effects to agriculture and public health. This disaster stands as a stark reminder of weaknesses in dam management and the growing dangers posed by climate change, which is making extreme weather more frequent and severe. Although Yunnan has flood control infrastructure, this event revealed its limitations. Experts emphasize the urgent need for stricter dam safety standards, expanded real-time monitoring, and community preparedness training. Amid the tragedy, the courage and solidarity of Yunnan's people shine through. Many risked their own lives to save neighbors. Volunteers paddled boats to deliver food to flood-hit areas. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly through the night under dire conditions. Together, they wrote a story of resilience and humanity. The road to recovery will take years. Homes must be rebuilt, transportation restored, farmland rehabilitated, and polluted water sources cleaned. Authorities now face not only the challenge of repairing what was lost, but also of building stronger defenses to protect future generations. For tens of thousands of families, the journey ahead remains daunting, but the shared determination to rise again will be a source of strength. The tragedy of September 6, 2025 will remain a painful memory, but it also serves as a profound reminder of the importance of preparedness, adaptation, and unity in the face of natural disasters. Thank you for following this report, and please stay informed, stay safe, and continue to share solidarity. We will bring you the latest updates in our upcoming reports.
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.